What you think about when you're born into a fire? Let them burn it out. Sell them to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away, fade away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. Listen up now, because we're never dropping out. Beat the odds, beat the big house. The brains are bigger than the doubt. We've been thinking for ourselves, never let the truth fade away. This is bigger than ourselves, we won't let the world burn away, burn away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. And we feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway.
Hello, hello. It's been a weird day.
Hey daddies, it's me, the Linda Binda from TikTok. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to thank you for watching Cold Beer Confessionals with Will Bird. I think that's just incredible. I've watched a few episodes and I'm just like very intrigued. But you know what I'm most intrigued in is Big Daddy's meat stick. I heard that it's very thick, like a good old German sausage. You know, Linda and her coochie loves that. Oh, never mind. Let's not go there. Anyways, I hope you have a good show and enjoy it as you can. There's a lot of weird things that go on, especially when it comes from the realm of Linda Bindaland. So, enjoy the show. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Welcome, everybody. I'm Will Bird. This is Cold Beer Confessional. We were just watching Linda Binda. Check her out on TikTok, YouTube. You can check her out both those places. Linda Binda, she's pretty funny. Whole Jupiter saga, something to check into if you've never seen her before, but she's funny. Anyways, thank you guys for joining us. I'm Will Bird. This is Cold Beer Confessional. Thanks for hanging out with us. I'm going to start this off with a video. So, who would have thought that this guy... did I post it or did I not post it? Maybe I didn't post it. Maybe I just played the video. Or maybe it's probably a reply because I tagged somebody in it. Who would have thought that this guy right here
anymore
was an agent of Russian disinformation? Who would have thought that? Watch this video and tell me what you think.
And they know it. But I don't know that it matters anymore. This is psychotic. Ukraine is the enemy of this country. Ukraine is our enemy, being funded by the Democrats. I will stress this again. One of the greatest enemies of our nation right now is Ukraine. They are expanding this war. Now, don't get me wrong, I know. You've got criminal elements of the U.S. government.
Ukraine is our number one enemy?
Now, don't get me wrong, I know. You've got criminal elements of the U.S. government pushing them and guiding them and telling them what to do. Ukraine is now accused, a German warrant issued for blowing up the Nord Stream pipeline, triggering this conflict. Ukraine is the greatest threat to this nation and to the world.
Ukraine is the greatest threat to our nation and the world? Really?
We should rescind all funding and financing, pull out all military support, and we should apologize to Russia.
We should rescind all funding, pull out all support, and we should apologize to Russia. Now, some news came out about Tim Pool and a company that he works for. A company that manages does some things with his podcast. So he has another podcast called The Culture War, TCW. So you see here, host of the Culture War podcast. Some news has come out today we're going to talk about that this company out of Tennessee named Tenet Media was actually an arm when you guys remember RT News, Reuters, RT News, Russia Today or whatever, RT, they got basically ran out of a bunch of countries for spreading propaganda. When that happened, the Russian government said, that's fine. We don't need our own network. We'll just pay influencers. So they probably started multiple companies, but at least one of them was called Tenet Media. Tenet Media. That was based here in Tennessee. And Benny Johnson, Tim Pool, and some others were part of this, sponsored by this. Now, I'm going to read you what Tim Pool says. My statement regarding the allegations in the DOJ indictment. Now, just a couple days ago, he claimed that he was suing Kamala Harris because Kamala HQ Twitter account, which I'm not even sure is that her official campaign Twitter? It doesn't matter. Kamala HQ Twitter account posted a video of Tim Pool claiming that Democrats should be arrested because they've committed crimes. And there's something in the post said something about Project 2025, and they want to arrest Democrats. And he's like, I'm suing. This is defamation. I can't believe you'd say this. And that's also the one where Laura Loomer says, no, they're guilty of treason. They should be put to the death penalty. Democrats should be put to the death penalty. Whatever. He was suing them, and then this comes out today, and it says, my statement regarding the allegations and the DOJ indictment. Should these allegations prove true, I, as well as other personalities and commentators, were deceived and are the victims. We're the victim. Russia may have been sending us a portion of $10 million that they used to invest in influencers that were putting a pro-Russian propaganda spin on the news, but we're the victims. We're victims here, okay? I cannot speak for anyone else at the company as to what they do or what they are instructed. The Culture War podcast was licensed by Tenet Media, the Russian company. It existed well before any license agreement with Tenet, and it will continue to exist after any such agreement expires. The only change with the agreement was that the location of the live broadcast moved to Tenet's YouTube channel. And I and TCW, which is the name of his podcast, The Culture War, never produced any content for Tenet Media. Never at any point did anyone other than I have full editorial control of the show, and the contents of the show are often apolitical. Examples include discussing spirituality, dating, and video games. Now listen, imagine that a company could fund one show because it's less political, but really they're interested in your other show. Could that be a possibility? Right? If they didn't want to seem like they were directly funding to Timcast, imagine if they funded your second show and paid you hundreds of thousands of dollars for it, but they really wanted to influence your first show. Also, this is fucking retarded for him to come on here and say, and maybe it's even true, but listen to what I have to say here. Even if we grant him even if we grant Tim that no one ever asked him to change his content and he never made videos for them, never did what they said, they never asked him to do anything, but even if they did, he wouldn't have done it. Even if we grant him that, what can we logically take away from that? Russia is paying influencers to spread disinformation. They've never once said anything to Tim about his content. They don't have to. You're already spreading misinformation. They don't have... What are they supposed to... Good job, comrade. What the fuck are they supposed to say? You were already spreading misinformation, Russian misinformation, straight from the fucking Trump camp. All of it's Russian disinformation. Lies. We've been busted you in several fucking lies. You were already spreading misinformation, so they come with a lot of money to make sure you're still spreading misinformation, to make sure that you're in the algorithm, to make sure that more people are seeing you. Right? So just because they never asked you to do anything special or make an editorial change, all that means is you were their puppet for free and they just put more money behind it. The show is produced in its entirety by our local team without input for anyone external to the company. Yeah, because you're already spreading misinformation. They don't have to give you if you're towing their disinformation propaganda line, they're not going to come and say, "Hey, we got some notes here we'd like to show you that maybe we should change this and not say that." You're already doing it for them. TCW is separate company, not associated with Timcast. Imagine that. So if no one even knows most people don't even know about the Culture War podcast. So if I was receiving funds from a foreign state trying to influence the election, and I have this one show that's like my baby, that's like the money producer, that's the biggest show that everybody comes on, that everybody knows about, and then I have this other secondary show where I talk about spirituality and bullshit, and I don't want to lose this main show. No matter what I do, I got to protect this main show, including like not having Alex Jones on and throwing a fit and saying you want to have Destiny on, because you can't lose this main show. This is it. Do you think I would have that foreign state actor invest in my main show, where if it ever come up, the whole show would be thrown off the fucking internet? Or would I have them invest in this other company that I also own? Right? I have them invest in this other company that I also own and make sure that if something comes up, I don't lose my bread and butter, my main show, my baby, whatever you want to fucking call it. Imagine I have a company that installs doors, okay? And I have another company that lobbies the government for things, okay? And they lobby congressmen. And Russia decides to invest because they love residential doorways. And they invest $5 million in my residential door business. And I'm like, that's just something I do on the side. I like carpentry. I like hanging doors. That's just a pet project. I don't even talk to Congress people when I'm installing doors. I don't even think I've ever installed a door for a congressman. Do you think that Russia would be investing in my door company? Or do you think they'd be investing in this company while they're expecting me to do something in my lobbying job? The fuck out of here, dude. It exists solely for the production of the Culture War podcast. Of course it does. You'd be stupid to put them together, especially if you knew anything about Russia's involvement in this tenant media. That being said, we still do not know what is true, as these are only allegations. Seems pretty fucking cut and dry. Putin is a scumbag. Russia sucks donkey balls. That's what you're going with? Imagine trying to clear your name by saying, I couldn't be a Russian asset. Putin sucks and Russia's horrible. And then this clip is floating around.
But I don't know that it matters anymore. This is psychotic. Ukraine is the enemy of this country. Ukraine is our enemy, being funded by the Democrats. I will stress this again. One of the greatest.
Have you ever heard anybody in the last 20 fucking years that claims to be like someone who talks about politics and geopolitical stuff in the United States, talking about the United States, claim that claim that Ukraine is the greatest threat to the United States and the rest of the world ever? Have you ever heard that opinion in geopolitical politics? No? Me neither.
Enemies of our nation right now is Ukraine. They are expanding this war. Now, don't get me wrong, I know.
I don't think people realize how big this is. It's a state-funded Russia using Americans to spread propaganda to influence our election. All the Q-tards want to scream about election tampering, election influence, and cheating and blah. Here it is, Q-tards. Come in and get it. Eat it up. This is almost on par. It's almost as bad as being a literal Russian spy in the United States. Like, to be paid to spout Russian disinformation to audiences as large as you might even be able to do more damage. Some spies never get close enough to something, right? They're working towards an asset. They never get any good intel. They never get any good takeaways from that. But he's literally broadcasting to millions of people a month, spreading Russian propaganda. Like, this is huge.
Criminal elements of the U.S. government pushing them and guiding them and telling them what to do. Ukraine is now accused, a German warrant issued for blowing up the Nord Stream pipeline, triggering this conflict. Ukraine is the great.
That's my. You know how many times I've been called a paid shill, or that I was bought off by them, or paid by those, or this. It's always the right wing screaming this shit at me, and here they are. They're darlings.
Greatest threat to this nation and to the world.
Ukraine is the greatest threat to our nation, United States, and the world. It would be different if he was talking about Russia. If he's in Russia and he's Russian, saying Ukraine, that's what the Russian state media wants you to say, right? Imagine having this clip floating around, and you think it's offset by saying Putin is a scumbag, Russia sucks donkey balls. And to the journalists who wish to jump on the gun, create their own narrative, or lie about what is currently going on, you can eat my Irish ass. Now, Ryan Macbeth had a comment to this. He says, you can eat my Irish ass. I really hope you're into that, because it's going to be happening to you a lot in prison. Wouldn't it have just been easier to listen to me when I corrected you about Ukraine last year? Oh, well, them's the breaks, eh? Don't be silly. They're not going to prison. It's just embarrassing. Not a surprising, really. People on social media talk about things as they are experts when they are not all the time. We don't want all of them in jail, do we? That's not what's happening here. If I claim to be like a fucking goddamn artillery expert and say that, oh, this is what happens when you shoot this type of round, blah, 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 and I'm wrong, that's different than Russia paying me and I spout Russian talking points to try to influence Americans, especially with an election on the horizon. Jail? Oh, you have such a poor imagination. Damn. Rami Best's not holding back. I don't think these are the only ones either. I think that I hope there'll be more come out. I hope there's more coming out. Jesus Christ. Rami Beth is not holding back at all. Pisco says, show us the communications between your organization and tenant media reps. We need to verify this, right? Show us the offer. Show us what they said. Show us the back and forth. What was said in those communications? He owes you nothing, dude. What's an easy way to clear his name, right? If he's never spoke to tenant media about anything pro or anti-Russia, Ukraine, America. They just said, hey, we love your podcast. We'd like to give you $3 million to keep it running for the next year. Oh, by the way, we want you to put it on our channel and record it in our studio or whatever. That's cool. Let's see it. Let's see it. Tim fucking Pool, dude. We can watch the briefing. I think this is it. No. This is actually a really cool video. This guy hides himself in the ground, trying to avoid the police. Hold on.
Hollywood level special effects artist.
Please go to the fair.
We win. He's building a
Dough urine mixture.
I want to see if it shows. Look at him.
My help. It's your turn.
Look at this right
Now
here.
Kendall is building an AC unit to blend into the outside of the house.
Build a chair.
Look at him buried in the ground.
Dude, this is insane.
So they basically played hide and go seek with the cops. This is actually a really cool video. A really good idea. Look at him there. He's got like this fake face piece off and he keeps his eyes and mouth closed. That's a pretty cool video. But that's not what we're talking about right now. We're talking about this. The State Department briefing. So we can go back. Yeah, replay it. Idiots. It started really late, so I have to jump ahead. But basically, they came out and, you know, the documents say like company 1, broadcaster 1, broadcaster 2, but they're talking about Tim Pool, Benny Johnson, and some others. I'll grab an article. Damn, I want to refresh the whole thing. All right, starting soon. We'll skip ahead. I think they were like 30 or 40 minutes late, so let's see. Let's see what they had to, Department of the State, see what they had to say about it. This is a big deal. This isn't someone claiming they're an expert on something and talking out their ass. How long has Tim Pool been? Did you guys see the mega cut of Tim Pool saying the word civil war? How long has Tim Pool been telling you we're on the brink of a civil war? Ever since Joe Biden's been in office, we've been on the brink of a civil war. And now Donald Trump's the only person that can bring us back. Ukraine's our greatest enemy. We need to apologize to Russia. Keep telling me that you're that patriot. Telling us we need to apologize to a country that invaded another country. And we said, no. You can't just invade other sovereign nations like that, okay? Like that you're just being a bully. Oh, we need to apologize to them? Got it. I'll tell you this much. You won't hear those takes from anybody else. I've never heard anybody say that Ukraine is the biggest threat to the United States and the rest of the world ever in my life outside of Russian media. Russian media says they got fucking Captain America super soldiers and underground labs, and that's the reason they can't win the war because we're bio-enhancing them to be bloodthirsty and hate Russians. So if he had a qualifier and he said like Ukraine is the biggest threat to America and the rest of the world because they could potentially start a nuclear war between the United States and the United States and Russia, maybe, right? I've heard that take before, like they could, but that's, first of all, that's not going to happen. That's just not going to happen. Nobody wants mutually assured destruction, right? But second of all, that's not even what he's saying. He's just saying they're the greatest threat to the USA and the rest of the world. He doesn't even clarify. That was the whole clip we watched.
Good afternoon, everyone, and sorry to be late. I'll just start with a couple of announcements before we take questions. The United States has long known that Moscow utilizes a vast collection of tools, including malign influence campaigns and cyber activities, to undermine the interests of the United States, our democratic institutions, and those of our allies. We've seen them do that over many years, both here and abroad. And today, in concert with the Department of Justice and the Department of Treasury, we are revealing the latest actions by the Kremlin to attempt to undermine our democratic institutions. According to information made public today by the Department of Justice, we now know that
yeah, the Q-tards who think that Ukraine is secretly the head of the Khazarian Jews.
RT, formerly known as Russia Today, has moved beyond being simply a media organization. We know that RT has contracted with a private company to pay unwitting Americans millions of dollars to carry the Kremlin's message to influence the U.S. elections and undermine democracy.
How can Tim Pool both play this role as the know-it-all, right? The guy you need to tune into for information. He can see through the bullshit and bring you the actual facts. He doesn't fall for this propaganda and this left versus right. He's straight and narrow. He's the perfect centrist who also just loves to suck off Trump. But he was also fooled by a couple of women and a few $1 million into spreading Russian propaganda.
RT's leadership has created and directed this enterprise. Because of this development, the Department of State is taking 3 concrete actions today to protect the integrity of our democratic institutions. First, we are announcing a new policy to restrict visa issuance to certain individuals who, acting on behalf of Kremlin-supported media organizations, use those organizations as cover for covert activities and are responsible for or complicit in these malign efforts. Consistent with U.S. law, visa information is confidential, and the department is not at liberty to name these specific individuals. Second, the department has designated the operational presence of Rossiya Segodnya and its subsidiaries RIA Novosti, TV Novosti, Rupli, and Sputnik as foreign missions, as they are effectively controlled by the government of the Russian Federation. As Foreign Missions Act designated entities, they will be required to notify the department of all personnel working in the United States and disclose all.
Have you ever heard about that? There was a guy that went over. There was a guy that played in the NFL that went over to visit with Putin in Russia. And Putin's like, oh, a Super Bowl ring. I like that. It was to the translator. It's like, oh, a Super Bowl ring. I like that. Blah, 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 whatever. And the guy's like, yeah. He's like, can I see it? And Putin takes his Super Bowl ring and says, you mind if I see if it fits? And puts it on his finger. It fits. And then just walks away. And the guy's like, hey, my ring. He's like, what ring? And then security steps in, KGB and shit. Just stole it. That's what he's going to do to Tim's beanie. You're going to see Putin in his next press conference. He's wearing Tim's beanie. Apparently, that's a real story about Putin. And there's even some photos with him wearing some Super Bowl ring. It was Bill Belichick, for real? I don't know. I kind of heard of it through, I think, Joe Rogan. Then I had to look it up because Joe Rogan fucking lies about half the shit he has on his show. So
the Russian Federation. As Foreign Missions Act designated entities, they will be required to notify the department of all personnel working in the United States and disclose all real property they hold. Finally, the department is announcing a Rewards for Justice offer to seek information on potential foreign efforts to interfere in U.S. elections, including by organizations such as Rodit, also known as Russian Angry Hackers Did It, which has previously engaged in covert election interference, influence abroad, and poses a threat to the 2024 U.S. elections.
They even play under this thing like, you know how the Q-tards and the right wing say Russia, 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 it's all a hoax, it's all a witch hunt, and they won't listen to anything about Russia whatsoever. So they have a group called the Russian Angry Hackers Did It, Rodit or whatever is the acronym. And that's even a play on, like, let's blame it on the Russian hackers because none of that was real because Trump did such a good job with convincing his followers that he had nothing to do with Russia. There was ties all over fucking Russia. All his people, his son was meeting with Russian agents about potential dirt on Hillary Clinton. Like, everybody had ties with Russia. Over on the Trump side, but they make it out like it's a witch hunt and there was nothing there. We'll read the Mueller report one day before the election.
These actions are in addition to law enforcement actions announced today by the Department of Justice and new sanctions imposed by the Department of Treasury.
He keeps it in the band of his fucking beanie. That's funny. Tim Pool does suck off Joe Rogan. He was the first one to come on Twitter when Joe Rogan supported RFK or whatever, and then maybe I'm conspiracy-headed, but, like, the more I lean into some conspiracies, the more they come true. Like, I've been talking about these people who had to be paid by Russia. There's no way they have these genuine beliefs. They're not that dumb, right? But it almost seems kind of weird that the whole Joe Rogan supports RFK, and then, like, a couple weeks later, RFK throws his weight behind Trump. Because if Joe Rogan would have just come out and supported Trump, he'd have got a lot more hate than supporting RFK, and then RFK goes and throws his weight behind Trump. But he was one of the first people to be like, leave him alone. He's allowed to have an opinion, because MAGA attacks anybody that isn't MAGA.
As Secretary Blinken said in a statement released just moments ago, foreign governments should know that we will not tolerate foreign malign actors intentionally interfering and undermining free and fair elections. The United States will continue to both expose these state-sponsored actors who attempt to undermine our democratic institutions and hold them accountable for those actions. Turning to travel. Secretary of State Blinken will travel to Haiti and the Dominican.
That's insane, dude. That Russia Today had a $10 million budget. It's not really Russia Today, but it is the people from RT when they got basically kicked out of all the countries for spreading propaganda and trying to spy and trying to influence elections and shit like that. So they turned it into a media wing where they said, okay, they won't let us put our media there. Fine. We'll just find influencers that are kind of already spitting our propaganda and throw our money behind them so they get more views, get in the algorithm, get whatever. We don't have to tell them what to say. We've already got a bunch of these idiots that are just repeating it because Trump repeats it. All Trump's people repeat it. The right repeats it. So all we got to do is find these prominent figures that are already repeating it for us, saying stuff like Ukraine is the greatest threat to the free world, and we'll just throw money behind them.
Dominican Republic tomorrow and Friday. In Haiti, the Secretary will meet with Transitional Presidential Council Coordinator Edgar LeBlanc Fields.
I just want to get to the question part.
To discuss forthcoming steps in Haiti's democratic transition and U.S. support to the Haitian people through humanitarian assistance and Haitian-led stabilization efforts. He will also meet with the leadership of the Multinational Security Support Mission, emphasizing U.S. support to reestablish security in Haiti, while also underscoring the significance of promoting respect for human rights. From Haiti, Secretary Blinken will travel to the Dominican Republic to meet with President Luis Abinader. In Santo Domingo, the Secretary and President Abinader will reinforce our close and long-standing partnership and discuss collaboration to advance inclusive economic growth, champion human rights, and promote good governance, security, and climate resilience in the region, including through the U.S.-Caribbean Partnership to address the climate crisis and Caribbean Basin Security Initiative. With that, Matt.
Right. Let's put a bunch of different things, none of which will take a lot of time, I don't think, but I'll start with the Russia stuff. What was the name of this? Russian angry hackers did it?
Yeah, RODIT, I believe, is the acronym. It's a group of hackers who have attempted to undermine democratic governance both here and abroad, and so we have a rewards for justice.
Well, they weren't very tricky about concealing their identity.
It's not the most covert name, correct?
I mean, doesn't that give
Because it's a play on the Russia witch hunt, all that. It's a play on it.
you some pause? I mean, I'm not suggesting that the group doesn't exist or that they stupidly identified themselves.
They very much exist, but identify the point of the Rewards for Justice offer is identifying the name of the group and identifying those individuals who are involved in it and actions they might take are a different thing. And so we are offering this reward for anyone who can bring forth information, right. And I should make clear, either about their activities or the activities of other similarly situated organizations attempting to undermine our democratic institutions.
All right, and then I realize that visa information is confidential. But
by the way, the way Q-tards talk about voting machines and how easy they are to hack and they're all connected to the internet, why wouldn't a foreign actor just do it? Why would it always be the Democrats or Dominion or Biden or flipping votes? Why wouldn't a foreign actor just do it?
I mean, can you give us some idea of how many people?
I can't, unfortunately. They are confidential. I can't give you a number.
Yeah, well, what's not confidential in the visa is the number.
And I don't have a number to announce today.
Well, is it dozens? Is it a handful? Is it one? Is it more than one?
I just don't have a number to announce. But I do want to note with respect to the visa action that we have taken today, that it is one step the State Department has taken, but all of this should be looked at as one of a number of steps the United States government has taken. So the visa actions are taken in concert with the sanctions imposed by the Department of Treasury and, of course, the law enforcement announcement the Attorney General made just a half hour or so ago.
But in terms of the visa restrictions that you've announced, you do realize it's really impossible for us to know what the scope and scale of this is if you can't give us even a general idea of. I do,
and unfortunately I'm just not able to, but they are carefully targeted to those individuals, as I said in my opening statement, who we believe are involved in this activity. And as we've made clear before, these are the types of things that we offer. It is plural, and beyond that, I don't have any further information.
Okay. If anyone else has something on that.
Yeah, it's a slightly separate issue, but the governor of New York, Kathy Hochul, said that she requested the expulsion of China's consul general in New York and had spoken to the Secretary of State about that. Can you confirm that that's happened?
So I saw the governor's statement. She actually spoke to the Deputy Secretary of State earlier today. So first of all, the consul general was not expelled. Our understanding is that the consul general reached the end of a regular scheduled rotation in August, and so rotated out of the position, but was not expelled. But of course, when it comes to the status of particular employees of a foreign mission, I would refer you to the foreign country, but there was to speak to it, but there was no expulsion action. Okay, and I'm presuming this is related to someone in her office who was working for the Chinese government. There's been law enforcement action on that, but is that, you say the consul wasn't expelled, but is there a sort of grounds for expulsion, or is that something that the department has considered? So I'm not going to speak to anything that we might have considered, or especially when it comes to an action that wasn't taken. In this case, this particular individual was not expelled, just reached the end of a regular scheduled rotation. That said, foreign interference, including attempts to influence through covert activities that should be registered under the Foreign Agents Registration Act and are not registered are things that we take very seriously, as you saw by the action the Department of Justice took yesterday.
You know when that happened, when he left?
It was the end of August, in my understanding.
Okay, and is there a new consul general who
I would defer to the foreign mission to speak to their employees. I assume that there's a new consul general rotating, and that's a general course of action, but whether one has arrived already, I just don't know.
So which deputy secretary did she speak to?
Turk Campbell.
Because you know there's more than one.
I'm aware of that. Jenny.
Thank you, Matt. The U.S. and South Korea extended deterrence strategy consultative group meeting was held at the State Department today. What specific discussions took place there?
Let me take that back and get you a readout of that particular meeting.
Okay, and also U.S. extended deterrence for South Korea is very important, but 65% of South Koreans support South Korea arming itself with nuclear weapons to counter North Korea's nuclear weapons. Will the United States authorize tactical nuclear weapons in the South Korea in the near future?
So I'm not going to.
So she's basically saying that a bunch of people in South Korea believe that South Korea should have nuclear weapons on hand to counteract North Korea's nuclear weapons. I know it was hard to understand, but so here's what came out from the State Department, Donnie, that you remember Russia Today, that Russia Today RT News basically got kicked out of everywhere for spelling propaganda. When they did that, Russia decided that they don't need their own media there. Instead, they would, we'll read a press release on it. Hold on, I don't want to explain this wrong. Instead, they would find influencers that were kind of, so all the influencers that are accused say they've never been asked to make any editorial changes. But all the influencers that are accused for working for Tenet Media were already spreading Russia propaganda. So here is like a clip of Tim Pool doing it. Hold on, you can watch this. This is the most blatant clip saying that Ukraine is the biggest enemy to the United States and the rest of the free world.
They know it. But I don't know that it matters anymore. This is psychotic. Ukraine is the enemy of this country. Ukraine is our enemy, being funded by the Democrats. I will stress this again. One of the greatest enemies of our nation right now is Ukraine. They are expanding this war. Now, don't get me wrong, I know. You've got criminal elements of the U.S. government pushing them and guiding them and telling them what to do.
So Tim Pool basically saying, like, I've never been asked to make a specific video or change my editorial process or change what I said, but that's because he was already spreading misinformation.
Ukraine.
It's basically like a right-wing thing. They just, anything that comes out of Russia, they're like, yep.
Is now
all the boxer stuff. The boxer's a man. Oh, my God. The domestic violence. I can't believe this. Suddenly, gender is nuanced instead of cut and dry. All that shit come out of Russia as well.
A German warrant issued for blowing up the Nord Stream pipeline, triggering this conflict. Ukraine is the greatest threat to this nation and to the world.
That didn't trigger the conflict. So the conflict was already going on when the pipeline exploded.
We should rescind all funding and financing, pull out.
That's why people thought the U.S. did it as like a fucking saying back the fuck off.
All military support, and we should apologize to Russia. And they know it. But I don't know that it.
So there he is spreading misinformation. Here's the article before we go back to the video. The unnamed Tennessee-based media company, it's Tenet Media is the name of it. The people already found it out. The unnamed Tennessee-based company that the Justice Department alleges was funded by Russian operatives working as part of a Kremlin-orchestrated influence operation targeting the 2024 election is Tenet Media, which is linked to right-wing commentators with millions of subscribers on YouTube and other social media platforms, according to a U.S. official briefed on the matter. The indictment unsealed in New York's Southern District accused two employees of RT, the Kremlin's media arm, of funneling nearly $10 million to an unidentified company, Tenet Media, described only as Company One in court documents. CNN has independently confirmed that Company One is Tenet Media, which is a platform for independent content creators. It is self-described as a network of heterodox commentators that focus on Western political and cultural issues, according to its website, which matches language contained in the newly unsealed indictment. The goal of the operation, according to prosecutors, was to fuel pro-Russian narratives, in part by pushing content and news articles favoring Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump. So Russia knows that Donald Trump's going to force Ukraine to surrender. That's the only way out of this war. And others who the Kremlin deemed to be friendlier to its interests. The indictment also says that Company One's website identifies 6 commentators. According to commentators listed on Tenet Media's website are right-wing personalities Benny Johnson, Tim Pool. Both have millions of subscribers on YouTube and other social media platforms. Pool interviewed Trump on his podcast in May. In a separate statement released Wednesday, Johnson and Poole said they were victims of the alleged scheme and said they maintained editorial control of the content they had created. We are disturbed by the allegations in today's indictment, which make clear that myself and other influencers were victims in this alleged scheme, Johnson wrote in a post on X. They almost wrote the exact same post, which was weird. Should these allegations prove true, I, as well as other personalities and commentators, were deceived and are victims, Poole said. The show is produced in its entirety by our local team without input of anyone external to the company, he added. On Wednesday, the Biden administration announced a sweeping set of actions to tackle a major Russian government-backed effort to influence the 2024 presidential election, including sanctions on 10 individuals and entities and the seizure of 32 internet domains. At Russian President Vladimir Putin's direction, 3 Russian companies used fake profiles to promote false narratives on social media. U.S. Deputy Attorney General Lisa Monaco said in a statement, internal documents produced by one of those Russian companies show one of the goals of the propaganda effort was to boost the candidacy of Trump or whoever emerges Republican nominee for president, according to the FBI affidavit. Why are you voting for the guy Russia wants to win, you fucking idiots? Taken together with the indictment of RT employees, the actions represent the Biden administration's most significant public response yet to alleged Russian influence operations targeting American voters. After the U.S. accused Iran of trying to hack both the Trump and Biden-Harris campaigns last month, Wednesday's actions are a reminder that U.S. officials continue to see Russia as a prominent foreign influence threat to November's election. Sources familiar with the matter told CNN ahead of the announcement. So, yes, Tim Pool, Benny Johnson, and some other smaller creators.
Speak to a poll, obviously, but our commitment to full denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula has not changed.
Thank you.
Yeah,
can we come back to IT? So,
Leon, excuse me.
The Secretary is going tomorrow there. This support for this multi.
If it comes out that he knew, if you, like, let's say that I was just covering something and I had a spin on it that some people agreed with and some people didn't agree with it, and I knew that China wanted to pay me $1 million to keep producing it, and you want me to change anything? No. Just keep doing what you're doing. Jesus fucking Christ.
National force, which is slow in being deployed. There's 400 Kenyan police so far, out of potentially 2,500 policemen from various countries. There's also issues on the financing the force and the equipment and what have you. There's talk about changing the mandate of this force into a UN peacekeeping force, which is something that the U.S. and many other countries were always opposed to because of the UN.
I think Lauren Southern was one of them. Lauren Southern, Taylor Hanson. I don't know that. I know Lauren Southern, Benny Johnson, and Tim Pool. Here we go. Dave Rubin. Oh yeah, I forgot about Dave Rubin's another big one. So it's Lauren Southern, Tim Pool, Taylor Hanson, TaylerHansen. Taylor Hanson. He's a field reporter for Tenet Media. His coverage consists of nationwide breaking news and cultural-related issues. Born and raised in Butte, Montana, Taylor took an interest in video reporting during the civil unrest in 2020. Then we have Matt Christensen. Matt Christensen, the only thing I remember about him is he debated a couple of guys that I used to watch. He debated them. I remember that. Dave Rubin. Obviously, Dave Rubin's got a big influence. And Benny Johnson. And Benny Johnson, the Benny Show, is a pretty big show. Matt Christian has a pretty big following as well. Even Lauren Southern, even after she fucking tried to attack migrants on boats one time by shooting flares at them in Europe, and she got kicked out of out of all of Europe, she still has an audience somehow.
Side of it. Has that changed? Is the U.S. willing to change the mandate of this force?
Let me take a couple of the premises of the question before I get to the question itself. So first of all, when it comes to the deployment of troops and the funding of the mission, we have always anticipated that the deployment of troops would roll out step by step, that there would be initial deployment of...
Yeah, I don't think he brokered any deal or anything on Tim Pool. He's a retard. But I want to know how much he knew. And I'm sure investigators will find out. I don't know if we'll ever find out, but yeah.
Kenyan forces that would be followed by supplementary forces over time. That is still on track. And then forces from other governments as well, which are still on track to deploy at a later date. That is not changed, and those are all still deploying in the schedule that we expect them to follow. When it comes to funding, so I'll speak just on behalf of the United States funding. So we committed $309 million to support the multinational security support mission. $200 million of that was in-kind support from the Department of Defense. That support has already been delivered. And then of the remaining $109 million, which is State Department funding for things like radios, night vision goggles, police gear, a very large tranche of that, tens of millions of dollars, has already been deployed, has arrived in Haiti, and more will continue to deploy over the course of the coming weeks and months. So we are well on track with both the funding and the deployment of personnel. When it comes to the mandate and the oversight structure, so we have always been willing to consider whatever option.
I think she was officially banned from the UK. And then she was asked to not, like, she tried to find, at least hearing her tell the story, she tried to find other places that would let her in. So she went over there to cover, like, mass immigration. And she ends up in the middle of the night on a little boat, seeing a bunch of immigrants that were trying to, like, use their boat to get into the country. And she started firing flares at them and yelling and shit, trying to, I guess, scare them off. But it was a really, 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 really bad look.
Options were appropriate to ensure that this mission had the appropriate oversight structure to ensure that
basically at the time what was happening is any boat that was out in that area had a duty to try to rescue these people, and they were picking them up and bringing them in, and she was trying to drive them away and shooting flare. It was just a horrible look.
Could fulfill and maintain security for the Haitian people. That hasn't changed. We'll always look at all the available options, but I don't have any announcements to make today.
Oh, I was going to switch regions.
Yeah, go ahead, Nate. Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit more about the timing of this trip? Is there a specific policy announcement or deliverable we should be looking for, or is it just that the security situation has gotten to a point where it's finally feasible? And second, Brian said this morning that significant progress has been made, and you want to acknowledge that. But can you talk a little bit about what progress hasn't been made and what steps you need to see in Haiti before you think they can hold a successful election?
So I would say that's one of the things we're going there to assess. One of the things the Secretary is going to do, which is to talk directly to political leaders in Haiti about the progress they have made towards a democratic transition and what other steps need to get to an election. And
I want to see if there's any more questions about the Tim Pool stuff.
The region can do to support
or the
Haitian
media stuff
on this path. They say there to ask questions and find out those kind of answers. When it comes to the timing of the mission, look, I would say you've already seen other officials from the State Department travel to Haiti. Ambassador Thomas Greenfield traveled there. It's either early in August or late in July. And so with the timing of this trip, the Secretary just thought it was important to go check in both, as I said, on democratic progress and governance, and also on the multinational security support mission, and see how it's actually working and what more we can do, both on the funding side and on the oversight side. Go ahead. Yeah,
Netanyahu again doubled down today, saying they would not leave the Philadelphia corridor. How do you expect to bridge the gap on this, given his continued insistence that Israeli forces?
So what I'm not going to do is negotiate in public on this question.
Yeah, there's a video that exists. She was making a documentary with this. Hold on. She was very, very far right. Then she she disappeared from the internet for a while, and then she came back. And when she came back, she's more like centrist, even some left-leaning beliefs. She hangs out with Destiny. Destiny has her on and shit. Lauren Southern in the boats.
Hey there, fellow leftists. Remember that time when Lauren Southern went out into the Mediterranean and shot flares at refugee boats? I don't. That never happened. Plenty of people might have said it happened. Fuck, back when I was a 60-sub seedling, I said that happened.
Maybe I'm wrong.
And then by contrast, get yourself detained in Italy for shooting flares at refugee boats. What a blockhead. But consider this my personal growth video, because I'm here to set things straight.
Maybe. She is Canadian.
Did not.
And her boyfriend was Australian or something, but they're separated now. They have a kid together.
Let's go out into the sea with nets and hooks trying to drown refugees like some kind of talking about the boats. That was 4 years ago. Why am I arguing with a version of Lauren Southern that no longer exists? Do leftists not believe in rehabilitation?
Let's see what actually happens.
It's the first waves of an unprecedented refugee headlines after more than 360 people drowned in a shipwreck that was within sight of the Italian island of Lampedusa. The Italian president.
So this is what happened. A bunch of people died in a shipwreck that they could literally see land, but they at the time other passerbys were just ignoring these migrant vessels. So they basically said that now we need to start rescuing these people if we can.
called the event a slaughter of innocents, and later that month, the Italian government launched a rescue mission called Mare Nostrum. Mare Nostrum was what we'll describe as the Chad operation. They had 900 staff, an amphibious assault carrier, 2 frigates, 2 submarines, helicopters, and drones. In its first year, they rescued over 150,000 people, arrested 350 smugglers, and confiscated 9 ships. However, for asylum seekers to move, and then replaced by 50 government organizations who sent out 4 vessels to restrict the movement.
Let's see if I'm wrong about. I could be wrong about it.
Enough. Enter Lauren Southern. In 2017, a French anti-immigrant youth group called Generation Identity decided to play their own role in policing the Mediterranean. They set up a project called Defend Europe.
Generation Identity, Tommy Robinson, and Lauren Southern went to their sponsored event, the Defend Europe event. That's how this all kicked off.
They had a website which had a mission statement describing the migrant wave as an invasion, and they set up a fundraiser for travel costs, ships, and research. Wait, is that the 4chan logo? Okay.
She was. I do know for sure she was kicked out. Her and 2 other people. What was the other people's name? She was kicked out of the UK and basically made it seem like nobody really wanted her in their town. It was because there was 2 more that were arrested that were coming to meet her. Brittany Pettibone, does that sound right? And Martin Sellner. They were like a thing together. They both got arrested at the airport coming to be part of this. Well, detained at the airport and then told to leave.
Protest NGO boats trying to enter Europe and ultimately to start a rescue mission of their own. By rescue, I mean they wanted to take anyone they found back to Libya, and more on that later. In the summer of 2017, the event, whilst holding up a hand flare and chanting the words, "No more illegal immigration." Yes, the group was joined by a young Lauren Southern.
Either way, it's a fucking pretty bad look.
Who live streamed the event whilst holding up a hand flare and chanting the words, "No more illegal immigration."
So this is a boat called the Aquarius that has been illegally bringing in migrants from the Libyan Ocean for the last while, and they're just heading out again to bring in more illegal migrants, and we are going to stop them. No way they're coming in here. No way they're bringing in more illegals. No more! No more! Illegal immigration! No more! No more! Illegal immigration!
After the event, they celebrated on a live stream and even asked 4chan to help them in the future.
What we want to do, we want to defend Europe from this invasion of migrants and illegals, and we need now, in fact, the help of the 4chan, Paul, all the people on the PCs, you on the internet, and we on the sea. Together we can stop this.
Absolutely. So Paul, we're going to need your help now.
So at first glance, this is pretty fucked up, right?
Yeah.
Like some kind of self-appointed border patrol officer trying to obstruct a boat that had rescued over 10.
Yeah, but I said she shot flares. Maybe she wasn't shooting flares, but that was always the story I had heard. And I remember seeing the video of her holding that flare, but maybe she wasn't shooting flares.
1,000 people. Of all the things Lauren could have to regret about her past, I'd imagine this would come out on top. But that isn't where the story ended. A year later, the Italian Interior Minister, Matteo Salvini, refused entrance to the Aquarius. Pay attention to him, by the way, he's important. The vessel, which had over 600 people on board, was temporarily stranded before it was finally accepted by the Prime Minister of Spain. Although no one had informally contradictory statements from various parties, the Aquarius had its registration removed and would no longer operate as a rescue vessel. They found a video celebrating the deflagging of the... Don't worry, we will find out which one of these sides is lying. But first, we should see what Lauren had to say about it. In 2018, she made a video celebrating the deflagging of the Aquarius, and her reasoning was more or less the same as it is now. In a very recent conversation with a streamer called Booksmarts, she gave off quite a few explanations, so there's plenty to work with here. Part 2, trafficking.
So why the Aquarius was under investigation and why it was ultimately shut down and impounded for illegal actions is, first of all, they were under investigation by the Italians for going on the coast and working as a trafficking service, not a rescue service. Back in the summer of 2017, a group called Generation Identity held a campaign to
I'm sure there's a lot of trafficking that happens around migrants, trying to, just the same way it is in the U.S.
Test NGO boats collude.
And here's how it works. Typically, people in Northern Africa would pay smugglers for a boat to take them across the Mediterranean. Most of these boats are little more than rubber dinghies, which aren't considered safe for the open sea.
So this is what was happening. The reason they had NGOs and other ships and stuff picking these people up. Like 100 and some people died and literally inside of land. And they're like, hey, we don't want these people dying. Like, we need to do something.
The migrants would then make a distress call, which has to be answered by a vessel in the area. The people in the dinghy are then taken on board the vessel where they can continue their journey safely. This is how a standard rescue mission works, and from the perspective of the rescuers, all of this is perfectly legal. What isn't legal is if NGO workers are caught directly communicating or colluding with smugglers. Even when they are...
Sure, they're not allowed. NGOs aren't allowed to say, we'll meet you here, we'll meet you there, and make sure you bring more.
The NGO workers are instructed not to interact with them and definitely not to confront them. It turns out smugglers can be kind of aggressive. Now, Lauren is correct that the Aquarius crew members were accused of colluding with smugglers. Salvini made a fairly direct reference to this when he closed Italy's ports to them, but what she doesn't say is, this was never proven. And while I have you there, every single investigation into criminal activity by NGOs in the Central Mediterranean,
all NGOs had been acquitted,
has so far ended with an acquittal. A German vessel called Jugendrettet, and they... Wait, so that's it? The accusations are completely baseless. They're just a tool used by right-wing politicians so they can impound ships, smear the rescuers. Part 2.5. Lauren Southern is a lying hack who lies about things and calls it journalist. Sorry, that's poisoning the well. We should... Okay. Part 2.5, a review of Lauren Southern's journalism. So this video is a couple of years old, but it's extremely relevant to the topic, and it's also a teaser segment from her...
So this is her teaser for her documentary. It's called Undercover, Exposing NGO Smugglers in Greece.
Borderless documentary, which Lauren wants more people...
Borderless was the name of her documentary. Thank you.
So that was the project I spent the most money on, which was very humanizing of migrants, but the thing is, none of my critics watch it, and that was 3 years ago.
You're welcome, Lauren. The story being covered is about...
We're basically a third world country, a banana republic, some may say.
NGO founder called Panos Moraitis, who was accused of helping people smugglers as well as money laundering, espionage, and forgery. Before giving himself up to the police in Lesbos, Panos was away from the island and considered to be in hiding. But before the police got to him, Lauren wanted to get a hold of him for an interview. Look, this is impressive, isn't it? There's an evidence board, there's Panos in hiding, and these two are going to find him before he's taken into custody.
And they're linked to their borders. I mean, they're hugely connected, but it all leads back to Panos.
So how are we going to get him?
Okay, I'm going to reach out to the rest of the RCR members who haven't been arrested, who are still active. See if we can get a connection to him, and then we can maybe arrange a call, maybe a meeting. But I think
So I want to see what she actually did. I guess she just held a flare and screamed.
Illegally, which is why
I don't think it's better.
Waste in the Mediterranean. I think it had like HIV on it. I think it was like tons of it, 10 tons of it. It was crazy.
10 tons of it had 10 tons of HIV. Is that what you just said?
Charges, but that still leaves the primary accusation against the Aquarius, the mismanagement of toxic waste.
The whole ship and operation was just operating illegally, which is why it was shut down. They were dropping toxic waste in the Mediterranean. I think it had like HIV on it. I think it was like tons of it, 10 tons of it. It was crazy.
10 tons of HIV.
So these were
That's crazy. What does that mean? 10 tons of HIV.
You know, HIV infected like clothing and stuff.
I'm messing with
you can look this up. This is all, yeah.
Well, don't mind if I...
HIV infected clothing.
I do wonder why she brought this up, because there was no mention of toxic waste before 2018, which kind of suggests she was looking for a post hoc justification, but oh well. In any case, Lauren is being conservative here. It was actually 24 tons. This was another one of Salvini's claims against the Aquarius, and where do you start? First of all, I'm not sure why she thinks it was dumped in the sea. As far as I've been able to find, the waste was handed over to local authorities in containers labeled as special waste, which would just be standard procedure. The problem was that apparently some of the contents should have been labeled as toxic waste.
So it's mislabeled as special waste, and some of it should have been toxic waste.
The waste they were referring to was the discarded clothes of refugees who had been rescued. According to Salvini and the prosecutors, the clothes...
It was their clothes. It was their clothes.
Had been contaminated not just with HIV, but also with meningitis and tuberculosis. Despite the fact that none of these diseases can be transmitted on clothes.
Are you sure? I have an AIDS blanket I've been trying to give to Mariah or not.
Or from phones, toilet seats, spoons, or cups, in case anyone needed to know. Tuberculosis is spread from the air and can be transmitted.
No to human trafficking, and no to the business of illegal immigration. I didn't even terrorists.
Well, terrorist, that's a bit strong, but remember I told you about migrants being stranded after the port closures and how some prosecutors thought that might be illegal? Well, it turns out Salvini went on trial this month because leaving people stranded at sea for 2.5 weeks could potentially be classed as kidnapping. And that's not even the first time he's been in trouble with the law, so...
Oh, yeah. Shit.
That guy. Part 4. Illegal immigration. Okay, so I think it's safe to assume that Lauren and definitely Generation Identity did not try to stop the boat because of some deep-seated concern for trafficking or tuberculosis trousers. The real thing she emphasized both back then and now was illegal immigration.
So that's what she's been trying to do. When people have questioned her since she's been back for like the last year, she's tried to say, well, it was really because trafficking. It was really because of toxic waste. It was really because of this. It was really because of smugglers. It was really because... But she was just trying to stop immigrants from coming to Europe, a place where she doesn't live. She doesn't even live in the United States, but she's got big ideas about this place too.
That was the thing they were chanting after all.
No more! No more! Illegal immigration! No more! No more! Illegal immigration! But in a lot of cases, even the reasonable lefties, their problem with me is something that I'm not going to be able to apologize for, because they think the problem inherently, like all the context with the boat and shit, they think the problem is that I'm against illegal immigration, and I still am.
Now, it is technically true that turning up to a country unannounced on a dinghy boat or a rescue vessel is illegal. The problem is the framing here is very misleading, because if this isn't the proper channel, the question becomes, what else is a refugee supposed to do? Like, if you're having to flee war or persecution or a failed state, you can't really be expected to just grab a visa and fly over. Given that the death rate in the central Mediterranean is 1 in 50 on a good year, this journey is mostly a last resort. That's kind of the point of being a refugee.
It is their last resort. What resort would they like them to try first?
After watching quite a bit of Lauren's content, I noticed she makes legal arguments quite a lot, but she never makes an exception, stating that refugees are allowed to enter the country illegally and that the contracting state is obligated to hear their case. In case you noticed it, I should also explain what they mean by coming directly there. The wording here often gets misunderstood, but directly is only a reference to whether or not they settled in a previous state. And contrary to popular belief, refugees have no...
So you can't what they call like country shopping. You can't go like to one country, hang out there that's safe, right? So you left... Oh, thank you for the 80 bits. You can't go to one country that's safe, away from war or whatever you're fleeing, and then go to another country. You can't like country shop. The first one you get there and you're safe and away from whatever you're fleeing, that's where you're at.
No obligation to claim asylum in the first safe country they arrived in. I know that fact might be upsetting to some people, but really it makes sense. As the UN put it themselves, forcing people to stay in the first safe country puts an arbitrary and disproportionate burden on whatever country happens to be next door. For example, if a civil war breaks out in Scotland, then I'm sorry, but you can't just expect me and 3 million other wankers to go and live in fucking England. That's just not fair on anyone. The only possible exception to this rule is the Dublin Agreement for EU member states, which doesn't really force people to stay in the first safe country, but it can sometimes undermine their asylum claim if they don't. So the people arriving in Europe are acting within their rights. But I'm mainstream at this point. They're not refugees, they're economic migrants. In her older video, Lauren even claimed to have pretty strong backing for that position.
These ships have been portrayed in the media as helping and saving drowning refugees. And of course, the media completely neglected the research by both the UN and the EU, which confirmed Generation Identity's position that these were economic illegal migrants from non-refugee nations that were being trafficked and not saved.
So I don't know if this was what the UN or the EU said. She hasn't put any sources, and the closest I could find to it was an article from UN Dispatch, which said some of the migrants aboard the Aquarius are certainly economic migrants. But initial processing in both France and Spain revealed that many were likely legitimate asylum seekers who have the legal right to seek asylum. And then it goes on to attack the politicians who make all the same arguments Lauren does. So not much of an endorsement there, really. You might have noticed I've been using the words refugee and migrant kind of interchangeably. And that's because the people arriving on the boats are really a bit of both. It is absolutely true that not everyone arriving in Europe gets their claim accepted. In 2020, about 40% of the claims were accepted first time, and then a further 29% of appeals and reviews were accepted. Still, that's quite a lot of people with unsuccessful claims.
69%,
We'll
70%.
that in a minute. But the real question is, what exactly is an NGO supposed to do about this? If some of the people they rescue have legitimate asylum claims and others don't.
Do you leave some of them to drown in the... Anyways, this is Lauren Southern, everybody. She's trying to make a new name for herself. She still, I guess, has a lot of right-wing beliefs, but she's opening up. She's not as crazy as she used to be.
I will just reiterate what we have said before, which is the government of Israel, from the prime minister on down, have accepted the proposal put forward by the president and the bridging proposal, which included the withdrawal of Israeli forces from densely populated areas throughout the Gaza Strip. And what we are working on every hour of the day is trying to figure out how we can bridge these remaining divides and find a way to get a ceasefire agreement over the line. But as you heard me say yesterday,
so Lauren Southern is named in this as commentator number 4 because when they talk about commentator number 4 in this indictment documents or whatever, when they talk about commentator number 4, she's listed as she, her. And the other ones are Matt Christian, Dave Rubin, Benny Johnson, Tim Pool, and that Hayden Jensen or what? No, Jensen Hayden. What was his name? Damn it. Hansen, something. Taylor Hansen.
Today, that is going to require flexibility from the government of Israel, just as it's going to require Hamas to finally find a way to get to yes. And
it says, so from the document, it says, on or about February 16, 2024, Afanzieva, as under the name Helena Shudra, messaged Founder 1 on Discord. It says, I do worry that neither Commentators 3 nor Commentator 1 share any raw videos posted on X. Commentator 2 shared only one video this week. Commentator 4 didn't share any raw videos. She only shared her mini doc and its promo. Commentator 5 is good at sharing our content so far. Commentator 5 is good at sharing our content so far. Then asked, do you think it would be possible if Producer 1 could start posting videos a bit earlier? Founder 1 responded that Founder 1 would talk to Producer 1 about posting earlier, and in fact did so. I want this whole document. Hold on. Maybe we should read this whole thing. Expose, presidential election, Trump. How many pages is this thing? 32. You guys ready? This is the indictment for the RT employees. RT, formerly known as Russia Today, is a state-controlled media outlet funded and directed by the government of Russia. After Russia invaded Ukraine in February 2022, RT was sanctioned, dropped by distributors, and ultimately forced to cease formal operations in the United States, Canada, the UK, and the European Union. In response, RT created, in words of its editor-in-chief, an entire empire of covert projects designed to shape public opinions in Western audiences. One of RT's covert projects, as described herein, is its funding of direction of a Tennessee-based online content creation company, U.S. Company One. That's Tenet Media. Over the last over at least the past year, I don't know why I can't read. Over at least the past year, RT and its employees, including Kalashnikov, a.k.a. Kostya, and Alina Anafasheva, a.k.a. Lena, the defendants have deployed nearly 10 million laundered through a network of foreign shell entities to covertly fund and direct U.S. Company One. So 10 million laundered just for Tenet Media and obviously the people that work underneath them. U.S. Company One publishes English language videos on multiple social media channels, including TikTok, Instagram, X, and YouTube, using multiple fake personas. Afanzieva edited post and directed the posting by U.S. Company One of hundreds of videos. Many of the videos published by U.S. Company One contain commentary on events and issues in the United States, such as immigration, inflation, and other topics related to domestic and foreign policy. While the views expressed in the videos are not uniform, the subject matter and content of the videos are often consistent with the governments of Russia's interest in amplifying U.S. domestic division in order to weaken U.S. opposition to core government of Russia interests, such as the ongoing war in Ukraine. Since publicly launching in or about November 23rd, U.S. Company One has posted nearly 2,000 videos that have garnered more than 16 million views on YouTube alone. U.S. Company One never disclosed to its viewers that it was funded by and directed by RT, nor did U.S. Company One or its two founders and principal executives, Founder One and Founder Two, register with the Attorney General as an agent of a foreign principal. So the Founder One and Founder Two are also U.S. residents. The two Russians, Founder One and Founder Two, also work together to deceive two U.S. online commentators, Commentator 1 and Commentator 2, who respectively have over 2.4 million and 1.3 million YouTube subscribers. This was Tim Pool and Benny Johnson. Founder 1 and Founder 2 contracted with Commentator 1 and Commentator 2 to produce videos using Commentator 1 and Commentator 2's own names and leveraging their existing audience for license and publication by U.S. Company 1. Kalashnikov, the two Russians, Founder 1 and Founder 2, worked together to mask U.S. Company 1's true source of funding, RT, by falsely portraying to Commentator 1 and Commentator 2 that the U.S. Company 1 was sponsored by a private investor named Edward Gregorian. I'll sound it out in a minute. I'm hooked on phonics. Edward Gregorian. In response, Founder 1 sent Commentator 1 a one-page profile provided to Founder 1 by another fictional persona purporting to represent Eduardo Gregorian, falsely describing Edward Gregorian as an accomplished finance professional. So they even made up a fake person that was their silent backer, who had held previous positions in Brussels and France at a multinational bank, Bank One, including Director of Private Banking, Division, and Wealth Management. After receiving the fictitious profile, Commentator One agreed to work with U.S. Company One and produce approximately 130 videos that were published on U.S. Company One's platform. RT is a Russia state-funded and state-directed media outlet, as RT's editor-in-chief has publicly acknowledged. Since RT receives budget from the state, it must complete tasks given by the state. For nearly 2 decades, RT promoted the objectives of the government of Russia by publishing disinformation and propaganda, leveraging its international network to amplify the government of Russia's message to foreign audiences and using its guise as a conventional media outlet to lend credibility to that message. RT's propaganda is most obvious when it reports on matters of importance to the government of Russia, such as public opinion about Ukraine in the United States. When direct propaganda is not effective, however, RT has pursued malign influence campaigns in countries opposed to its policies, including the United States, in an effort to sow domestic divisions and thereby weaken opposition of government of Russia objectives. For example, in discussing RT's coverage of the United Kingdom's exit from the European Union in 2016, an RT journalist recalled to an academic researcher, "I asked my editor, what is RT's line for this Brexit? And he said, anything that causes chaos is RT's line." In or about March 2022, following Russia's invasion of Ukraine in February 2022, the European Union, the United Kingdom, and Canada banned broadcasting by RT. That same month, RT also ceased its operation in the United States after major television distributors dropped the network. But as RT itself has boasted, despite its post-March 2022 bans on broadcasting and lack of formal distribution channels in the United States, Canada, the United Kingdom, and European Union, the government of Russia continues to use RT to direct disinformation and propaganda at Western audiences. For example, on or about February 25th, 2024, RT's editor-in-chief declared during a Russian television appearance that public opinion in the West is changing very rapidly and very cheerfully, due in part to RT. RT's editor-in-chief further explained that despite being banished everywhere on February 25th, referring to the start of Russia's invasion in Ukraine in February 2022, RT had built an enormous network, an entire empire of covert projects that is working with the public opinion, bringing truth to Western audiences. And he just said this on the Russian news. As set forth below, U.S. Company One is one of RT's covert projects in the United States. Koista, the defendant, is a citizen of Russia and an employee of RT. The other Russian has identified himself as deputy chief of digital media projects department for RT, is a member of an internal RT email distribution list reserved for leaders at RT, and manages multiple RT covert distribution channels in the United States, including U.S. Company One, as set forth below. So they know he's managing more companies, which will probably come up eventually. As set forth below, Founder One introduced the Russian to U.S. Company One employees and affiliates as a purported outside editor, and the Russian edited U.S. Company One content without disclosing that he was working for RT. Kalashnikov also participated in an internal U.S. Company One messaging group comprised solely of Kalashnikov, Founder One, Founder Two, and an individual purporting to act as a representative of U.S. Company One's investor, Edward Gregorian, but who has, in fact, a fake persona one, as described below. In that messaging group, Kalashnikov monitored discussions, among other things, U.S. Company One's funding, hiring, and contract negotiations with Commentator One and Commentator Two. Lena, a.k.a. Lena, the defendant, is a citizen of Russia and an employee of RT. Lena has identified herself on social media as a producer at RT dealing with overseas affairs and news. As set forth below, Kalashnikov introduced Lena to U.S. Company One staff and contributors as a member of Kalashnikov's editing team. And Lena collected information from and gave direction to U.S. Company One personnel on behalf of RT in that covert capacity. Lena utilized multiple fake personas at U.S. Company One, including Helena Shudra and Victoria Pesty. Founder One and Founder Two are foreign nationals who reside in the U.S. Oh, so they're foreign nationals, but they're in the U.S. Founder One and Founder Two jointly control and operate U.S. Company One, and they are the only authorized signatories for U.S. Company One's business checking account, which is held at a bank in the United States. Before operating U.S. Company One for RT, as set forth below, Founder One and Founder Two work directly for RT and its affiliates. Oh, so they're in on it, right? They clearly. From in or about March 2021 to in or about February 2022, Founder One created videos, posted social media content, and wrote articles pursuant to a written contract between Founder One's Canadian company, the Canadian Company One, and RT's parent organization, ANO TV. This content generally consisted of English language social commentary. RT directly published some of Founder One's paid work, while Founder One posted other of Founder One's paid work on Founder One's personal accounts without attribution to RT. For example, Founder One's invoice reflects that Founder One billed NOTV for approximately 217 videos, of which approximately 209 were published on Founder One's personal YouTube channels. Founder One also wrote approximately 25 opinion articles that were published on RT's website, at least 19 of which Founder One billed to NOTV. None of Founder One's articles disclosed that Founder One was paid by RT to write them. To create content for RT pursuant to Founder One's written contract, Founder One worked with Founder Two and two individual producers, Producer One and Producer Two, who later joined U.S. Company One. RT invited Founder One to appear on RT television programming, created a dedicated page on RT's website identifying Founder One as a contributor and featuring Founder One's articles, and providing an official letter on RT letterhead designating Founder One and Founder Two as essential workers during the COVID-19 pandemic. Idiots. In private correspondence, however, Founder One and Founder Two recognized that truthfully disclosing their affiliation with RT made it more difficult for them to do business in the United States. For example, in a July 2021 email inviting a contact to apply for a job with RT, Founder One wrote that RT's budget is going to be larger, but acknowledged, "I know being Russian, some folks in the U.S. aren't too hot on them," laugh out loud. As another example, in a private exchange on the messaging platform Discord in February 2022, Producer One and Founder Two told Founder Two that when I was asking people if they wanted to interview, many said yes until I said I was with RT. So I switched to saying I was just working for Founder One. Founder Two replied, "Ha, not surprised." In their private correspondence while working directly for RT pursuant to Founder One's written contract, Founder One and Founder Two regularly referred to their sponsor, RT, as the Russians. Holy shit. We got to make sure that we just got all our money from the Russians. We want to make sure to keep the Russians happy. Jesus Christ. For example, on or about May 12th, 2021, Founder 2 messaged Founder 1 on Discord. So we're billing the Russians from the corporation, right? On or about May 22nd, Founder 1 messaged Founder 2 on Discord. Also, the Russians paid. Jesus fucking Christ, dude. So we're good to bill them for the second month, I guess. On or about January 2nd, 2021, Founder 1 messaged Founder 2 on Discord. Also, I say we bill the Russians for the last month once we've done the extra op-eds, referring to Founder 1's paid opinion articles for RT. And on or about January 5, 2022, Founder 2 messaged an acquaintance on Discord about paid leave that the Russians had offered to Founder 1. They got to get those benefits in there. From in or about October 2021 to in or about May 2022, separate and apart from Founder 1's contract with RT parent organization, NOTV. Founder 2 also worked directly for RT and with Ruppli, RT's German subsidiary. Founder 2's paid work for RT included, among other things, preparing English language text messages describing news events. During this time, Founder 2 and Kleshnikov appear to have had overlapping business contacts. On or about May 18th, 2022, a Ruppli employee sent a Russian language email to 6 recipients, including Founder 2 and Kalashnikov, requesting that they send their work email addresses to gain account access to Ruppli's website. U.S. Company 1 is a United States company corporation established under the laws of Tennessee. Founder 1 has described U.S. Company 1 as the U.S. subsidiary of Founder 1's Canadian company, Canadian Company 1, as set forth above. From in or about March 2021, I want to know who these Founder 1 and Founder 2 is. It sounds like they have. Hold on. Oh, Lauren Chin. Okay, I know Lauren Chin. So she's a right-wing person too. You guys know Lauren Chin? She's a social media personality. Chan, I don't know how to say it. Etsuko could tell us. She's Chinese. Let me pull it over here if it'll ever load. Here she is.
I mean, I think that the thing to keep in mind is that
basically they are a leftist watchdog organization that basically just exists to smear right-wing figures. And to be clear, the problem here is not that Media Matters advances like leftist talking points, kind of like they...
Not all the leftists working for the Russians, though, right? That's weird. The other guy is Liam Donovan. Liam Donovan. Let's see if he's got a YouTube channel. I know this person, but I don't recognize the Liam Donovan name. I'm not seeing anything pop up immediately, so let's go back to the indictment. U.S. Company 1 is whatever. It's Lauren Chin's company, as set forth from in or about March 2021 to in or about February 2022. Founder 1 used Canadian Company 1 to produce content for RT pursuant to a written contract. Founder 1 incorporated U.S. Company 1 on or about January 19, 2022, and applied with Tennessee Department of State to transact business under its current operating name, Tenant Media, which Company 1 uses on its website and social media channels on or about March. And they were just blatantly like, the Russians paid us today. On its website, U.S. Company 1 described itself as a network of heterodox commentators that focus on Western political and cultural issues. Heterodox would be non-orthodox, right? Like non-conforming, they don't believe orthodox, I guess. I don't know. Including Commentator 1 and Commentator 2 as its talent, U.S. Company 1 regularly posts videos featuring these commentators, as well as other videos that do not feature the commentators across an array of social media channels, including YouTube, TikTok, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Rumble, to support the production and publication of its videos. U.S. Company 1 employs 3 staff producers, producer 1, 2, and 3, and a third individual, producer 3, and a purported outside editing firm staffed by, among others, Kalishnikov and Lena, the Russians. The Foreign Agents Registration Act is a registration disclosure, blah, blah, blah. Foreign principal, you got to register FARA registrations. The purpose of FARA is to prevent covert influence by foreign principals. We know that. Founder 1 began working with an individual operating under the fictitious name Edward Gregorian and 3 purported representatives of Edward Gregorian, Persona 1 and 2 additional purported representatives, Persona 2 and Persona 3, to launch a new YouTube channel, initially under the name Viewpoint Productions, on or about January 10, 2023. Persona 2 told Founder 1 that Founder 1's first task was to find a personality that could serve as the face of the channel, and that for the right candidate, we're willing to pay around $1 to $2 million per year. On or about January 13, 2023, Persona 2 sent Founder 1 a proposed contract for Founder 1's influence talent scouting services, with Founder 1 listed as the agent and a Hungarian entity, Hungarian Shell Entity 1, listed as a client. Hungarian Shell Entity 1 has no publicly available website. In exchange for Founder 1's services, the proposed contract awarded Founder 1 $8,000 per month, plus a percentage of any deals that Founder 1 closed with influencers. Over the next several months, while Founder 1 continued to negotiate with Founder 1's contract, Founder 1 accepted interim payments and began to scout for influencers for the new YouTube channel and for Edward Gregorian. Beginning in or about February 2023, Founder 1 solicited Commentator 1 and Commentator 2 to perform work on behalf of Edward Gregorian. For example, on or about February 6, 2023, Persona 1 emailed Founder 1 a short list of candidates for the YouTube channel, including Commentator 1 and Commentator 2. In the same email, Persona 1 attached a receipt for an $8,000 money transfer from an entity in the Czech Republic to Founder 1's Canadian Company 1. Persona 1 requested that Founder 1 submit an invoice for Founder 1's consultation services to Czech Shell Company, which Persona 1 described as our Czech sister company. Czech Shell Entity 1 has a website purporting to sell automobile parts, but also listing unrelated services, cyber, armor, suite, fortifying your digital defenses. The website makes no mention of Edward Gregorian, Persona 1, Persona 2, or Persona 3, Viewpoint Productions, or Hungarian Shell Entity 1. On or about February 6, 2023, Founder 1 responded to Persona 2 that Founder 1 had let Founder 2, who I work with and who handles the finances, know to get an invoice done. Founder 2 subsequently prepared an invoice from Canadian Company 1 to Czech Shell Entity 1, which Founder 2 transmitted to Founder 1, and which Founder 1 then emailed to Persona 1. In Founder 1's February 6, 2023 response to Persona 1, Founder 1 also advised that Founder 1 had reached out to Commentator 1 and will be speaking with him today. With respect to Commentator 2, Founder 1 cautioned that a contract would likely cost well over $2 million a year. The next day, on or about February 7, 2023, Persona 1 responded that Mr. Gregorian, misspelling the name of Persona 1's purported employer, they misspelled his fucking name when was okay with over $2 million as long as we get the right person on board under the right conditions. So we know what Tim Pool's worth. Oh, that's the Culture War podcast. That's just something we do in the background. Oh, a plus $2 million? Founder 1 purported that Persona 1, Founder Outreach Commentator 1, and Commentator 2, Founder 1 advised Comrade said it would need to be closer to $5 million yearly for him to be interested. And Commentator 2 said that it would take $100,000 per weekly episode to make it worth his while. Founder 1 cautioned that from a profitability standpoint, it would be very hard for Viewpoint, i.e. the initial public-facing name of the new venture, to recoup the cost for the likes of Commentator 1 and Commentator 2 based on ad revenue from web traffic and sponsors alone. Despite Founder 1 warning that Commentator 1 and Commentator 2 would not be profitable to employ, on or about February 14, 2023, Persona 1 informed Founder 1 that we would like to move forward with Commentator 1 and Commentator 2. So even these aren't red flags saying shit like, oh, this isn't going to be profitable if you're paying one of them $100,000 an episode, the other one $5 million a year. Tenet Media. So who's featured on their YouTube channel? Oh, no. Oh, no. Matt Christensen, Tim Pool. Lauren Southern, Taylor Hanson, Benny Johnson. They're all here. Way to look good, guys. Even though it wasn't going to be profitable for them at all, they still wanted to move forward. On or about February 17, 2023, Founder 1 sent an email introducing Commentator 2 to Edward Gregorian, Persona 1 and Persona 2. The parties arranged a call between Commentator 2 and Edward Gregorian, which took place on or about February 22nd, 2023. In scheduling the call, Commentator 2 requested that Edward Gregorian call Commentator 2's cell phone. Instead, Persona 2 asked that the call take place on WhatsApp or Zoom. Both applications offered encrypted communication and the ability to replace voice calls through voice-over IP technology capable of obfuscating the physical location of the caller. On or about February 22nd, 2023, Founder 1 emailed Persona 1 that Founder 1 had spoken with Commentator 2, who was happy with the licensing arrangement that was discussed. And commentators, I think Tim Pool's Commentator 2, on Commentator 2's calls with Edward Gregorian. Founder 1 continued, however, that Commentator 2 still would like to know more about the company who would be working with. Founder 1 added that Founder 1 had assured Commentator 2 that as we finalize the contract and begin working to put this show together and coordinate the launch, everyone will have time to get to know each other better and feel less like strangers. On or about February 28, 2023, Founder 1 emailed Persona 1 that Founder 1 had spoken with Commentator 1, who would like some material about Mr. Gregorian to learn a bit about who Commentator 1 would be working with. Founder 1 asked if there were any links, press releases, interviews, LinkedIn profiles, etc. we can forward Commentator 1 about Edward Gregorian. On or about March 22nd, 2023, Persona 1 responded to Founder 1's email, writing that Persona 1 was unsure that Mr. Gregorian gave out any public interviews, but you could send Commentator 1 our LinkedIn page with a hyperlink to a LinkedIn page for Viewpoint Productions. Persona 1 also attached a receipt for another $8,000 money transfer from Czech Shell Company. On or about April 21st, 2023, and again on or about April 24th, 2023, Founder 1 performed Google searches for Edward Gregorian and for Bank One Edward Gregorian as of in or about August 2024. Neither Google search returns any results for a person by that name, much less any web pages describing Edward Gregorian as a finance professional affiliated with Bank One. On or about April 24th, so they knew something was up. They're searching it, right? On or about April 24th, 2023, Founder 1 emailed Persona 1 that Commentator 1 was really insisting on seeing some material, profile, article, whatever on Edward before Commentator 1 feels comfortable moving forward. Is there anything we can provide Commentator 1 with? Persona 1 replied, we'll send you a profile, Mr. Gregorian, you could send over. On or about May 4th, 2023, Persona 1 emailed Founder 1 the CV to provide to Commentator 1. That profile is reproduced with redactions blurring below. So here's his CV. Here he is. That's Edward Gregorian. So they send him out with a resume and it's like, hey, use this guy. Bank One's affiliate in the United States has no record of Edward Gregorian ever being employed by Bank One, nor as set forth above do Google searches for Bank One Edward Gregorian yield any results for persona by that name, for a person by that name. Other irregularities in Founder 1's email correspondence further signaled that Edward Gregorian and his purported representatives, Persona 1 through Persona 3, were all fake personas. For example, by or on about February 16, 2023, Persona 1 had misspelled the surname of his purported boss, Gregorian, rather than Gregorian, at least 4 separate emails. So 4 different times the Persona 1 misspelled his boss's name. On or about February 10th, Persona 3 sent an email to a potential influencer, copying Founder 1 and signed the email as Edward Gregorian rather than Persona 3. After the email recipient expressed confusion as to whether the sender was Edward Gregorian or Persona 3, Persona 3 quickly responded in part, Edward forwarded this email to me and asked me to replay on his behalf. In Soviet Russia, the emails replay you. Digital forensic evidence further confirms that Edward Gregorian and Persona 1 through 3, i.e. the various investor personas, were in truth and in fact the same individual. For example, on approximately 39 occasions between in or about November 23rd and in or about July 2024, November 23 and July 24, email accounts used by Edward Gregorian and Persona 1 to communicate with Founder 1 were accessed from the same IP address. Uh-oh, hiccup. At around the same time. As another example, on or about January 10th, 2023, Persona 1 emailed the text of a draft email to Persona 2, which Persona 2 then passed into a new email and sent to Founder 1 from Persona 2's email account. Founder 1 transmitted the Edward Gregorian profile to Commentator 1 to persuade Commentator 1 to perform work on behalf of Edward Gregorian. On or about May 12, 2023, Founder 1 reported to Persona 1 that Commentator 1 had a problem with the profile we sent over, specifically the reference to social justice. I think it may be because that's usually a term used by liberals, but we're trying to create a conservative network. Founder 1 suggested that Commentator 1 and Edward could simply speak together to clarify the profile. On or about June 2nd, 2023, Edward Gregorian circulated an email to Founder 1 and Commentator 1's assistant, scheduling a Zoom meeting for 5 p.m. Paris. That day, in prior email correspondence, Founder 1 represented to another potential commentator that Edward Gregorian was based in Paris. At approximately 8:58 a.m. Central Time that day, Edward Gregorian replied to this email, "I am there, guys." The time, in fact, was 3:58 in Paris, but it was 4:58 in Moscow. Uh-oh. Approximately 2 minutes later, Edward Gregorian performed a Google search for time in Paris. Sorry. What time is it in Paris? Edward Gregorian then replied again to his email, "Sorry, wrong hour, didn't sync the calendar." Wow. After further negotiations in which Founder 2 also participated, Founder 1 and the purported representatives of Edward Gregorian secured contracts with Commentator 1 and Commentator 2. Specifically, Commentator 1's contract, which was between Commentator 1's production company and U.S. Company 1, provided for 4 weekly videos to be hosted by Commentator 1 and live streamed by U.S. Company 1 in exchange for a fee of $400,000 plus a $100,000 signing bonus and an additional performance bonus. Commentator 1's production company agreed that any and all content created under this agreement shall be the property of U.S. Company 1. Commentator 2's, which I think is Tim Pool, contract, which was between Commentator 2's production company and the U.S. Company 1, provided for weekly videos to be hosted by Commentator 2 and live streamed by U.S. Company 1 in exchange for a fee of $100,000 per video. Commentator 2's production company granted U.S. Company 1 a non-exclusive, non-transferable license during the applicable license term to display, transmit, and distribute licensed content. Enter about mid-2023, as Founder 1 worked to recruit Commentator 1 and Commentator 2 to perform work on behalf of Edward Gregorian, Founder 1 began negotiating an expanded role for Founder 1 and Founder 2 in the U.S. company in their developing enterprise as set forth below. On or about March 31st, 2003, Persona 1 emailed Founder 1 a draft of the new contract that we'd like to offer. Persona 1 described the new contract as consisting of 2 stages. The pre-talent signing, where your scope of work is similar to now, and the post-talent signing, which is after we sign Commentator 2 and Commentator 1. With your help, Persona 1 advised that the scope of your work will grow substantially to including managing the channel in the post-talent signing phase with new areas of responsibility and our new offered compensation. In a subsequent email on or about April 14, 2023, Persona 1 informed Founder 1 that the management and marketing for the new platform social media accounts would be done by the Russian firm we agreed to hire. But you will, of course, be the CEO and set the work standard and path for them to follow, and possibly you could hire a few more people from your side to further handle the operation side of this thing. So on or about April 17, 2023, Founder 1 replied, in part, that Founder 1 was happy to work with a Russian firm. As set forth below, this Russian firm consisted of the 2 Russians who later monitored and directed U.S. Company 1's activities under the guise of an outside editing firm. Founder 2 worked closely with Founder 1 to negotiate their expanded business arrangement with Edward Gregorian. For example, in the private messages on Discord on or about April 28, 2023, Founder 2 messaged Founder 1 that they, i.e. the investors, also have full rights to the IP, and so if we grow the platform, they can still technically take it away. Founder 1 replied that the French clarified that we own the channel, the French in quotes, clarified that we own the channel, but they own the rights to the content. And so, in the event of a split, I think we'd neither need to pay them out for the rights or remove the videos, but we keep the platform. Founder 2 also helped Founder 1 recruit additional commentators for U.S. work, Company 1 and Edward Gregorian. For example, on about May 22nd, 2023, Founder 1 messaged Founder 2 on Discord that Founder 1 needed to send a prospectus for the company to a potential commentator, Commentator 3. Founder 2 responded with proposed talking points for the prospectus and added, though I think we should probably borrow some of Gregorian's language here. Commentator 3 later agreed to work for U.S. Company 1. On or about May 12, 2023, Founder 1 sent an email to Persona 1 in which Founder 1 proposed that we keep the contract between us with my Canadian company. But for Commentator 2's contract, it would be through our American subsidiary. Yes, that is Tim Pool. In a subsequent email, on or about May 19th, 2023, Founder 1 explained that Founder 1 wished for my personal payment to be under Canadian Company 1, but the payments for the influencers go directly to U.S. Company 1. On or about June 13th, 2023, consistent with Founder One's proposal, Persona One emailed Founder One a final service agreement that named Founder One, Canadian Company One, and the U.S. Company One as the service providers. The contract, even if they had no idea they were working with the Russians, this should ruin every one of their fucking careers. It won't, but it should. The contract provided for a monthly fee of $8,000 for the first stage, a monthly fee of $25,000 per month for the second stage after signing Commentator 1 and Commentator 2, and additional performance incentives and commissions for engagements closed with talents. The client named on the contract was neither Edward Gregorian nor the Hungarian shell company, nor the Czech shell company, but rather an entity based in the UK shell company that has no website. After forwarding the contract to Founder 2 and discussing it with Founder 2 on Discord, Founder 1 signed the contract. Despite describing U.S. Company 1's investors to Commentator 1 and Commentator 2 as Edward Gregorian, a purported finance professional in Western Europe, Founder 1 and Founder 2 admitted to each other in their private communications that their investors were in truth and in fact the Russians. So they knew. For sure. And you're telling me they never told Tim Pool, Matt Christian, Benny Johnson, Lauren Southern? They never told any of them? Dave Rubin? The same term that Founder 1 and Founder 2 previously used to refer to RT while working directly under contract with RT as described above. On or about May 27, 2023, Founder 1 messaged Founder 2 on Discord. I'm going to ask the Russians about hiring Producer 2 this coming week. Approximately 2 days later, Founder 1 messaged Producer 2 on Discord. Here's a list of responsibilities I sent over to the investors to approve bringing you on. Waiting to hear back on timeline and salary. On or about August 8th, 2023, Persona 1 informed Founder 1 and Founder 2 in Discord that their request to hire a producer booker, i.e. Producer 2, was approved. On or about May 31st, 2023, Kalashnikov created a private Discord server containing a channel initially composed of Kalashnikov, Founder 1, and Persona 1, the investor Discord channel. Kalashnikov employed the Discord username Koistya K, which includes a variant of his first name, Koistya, and the first initial of his last name, Kalashnikov. On approximately 38 occasions between in or about December 2023 and about January 2024, Kalashnikov's Discord account was accessed from a Moscow-based IP address that was also used to access Kalashnikov's personal Gmail account on approximately 10 occasions. On or about June 21st, 2023, Founder 2 joined the investor Discord, describing Founder 2's role as mostly helping with the company's back end of things, while Founder 1 focused on more forward-facing aspects. In the investor Discord channel, Founder 1, Founder 2, and Persona 1 purported to act on behalf of Edward Gregorian, discussed major decisions for U.S. Company 1, such as hiring of staff, contract negotiations with contributors, including Commentator 1 and Commentator 2, and payments to U.S. Company 1 and commentators. Kalashnikov mentioned and occasionally participated in those discussions. Founder 2 also used investor Discord channel, among other things, to submit U.S. Companies 1 invoices to Persona 1 and press for payment on those invoices. For example, on or about September 11, 2023, at approximately 8:07 p.m. Central Time, Founder 2 wrote in the investor Discord channel, "Today marks 2 weeks since I submitted the invoice for August. Any ideas for the delay? We are signing up... We are signing the large contracts and need to be certain we will get the funding to pay these people." Persona 1 did not immediately respond. While awaiting reply from Persona 1, Founder 1 searched for the then current time in Moscow, specifically at approximately 8:50 p.m. Central Time. On or about September 11, 2023, Founder 1 searched on Google time in Moscow. So they knew. They're even saying, like, what time is it there? Are they going to sign the contract today? The time was, in fact, 4:50 a.m. in Moscow, approximately 3 days later. On about September 14, 2023, Founder 1 followed up in the investor Discord channel, writing, "Hey, Persona 1, just wanted to follow up and see if your finance department has any update on the transfers." A U.S. company prepared to launch in the fall of 2023, consistent with Persona 1's instructions to Founder 1 to work with the Russian firm we agreed to hire. Founder 1 introduced Kalashnikov to U.S. Company 1 employees and affiliates as an outside editor hired by U.S. Company 1's investors. In this role, Kalashnikov monitored U.S. Company 1's internal communications and edited content published by U.S. Company 1 without disclosing that he was an RT employee. Kalashnikov also introduced his fellow RT employee, Lena, to provide additional day-to-day directions to U.S. Company 1 employees and commentators as set forth below. On or about August 2nd, 2023, Founder 1 created a Discord server for U.S. Company 1 employees, associates, and contributors, the U.S. Company 1 Discord server. In the weeks that followed, Founder 1 subdivided the U.S. Company Discord server into various Discord channels, including channels for individual contributors and their teams to discuss production-related matters, a channel to discuss pitches and story concepts, and channels for the production team to post videos for publication by U.S. Company One. Founder One added Kalishnikov to most of these Discord channels, typically introducing Kalishnikov as an editor. For example, on or about August 7, 2023, Founder One created a Discord channel for the production of videos by one of his 6 commentators listed as U.S. Company One's website, Commentator 4, and told Commentator 4 that Kalishnikov is heading up the editing team so you and him can start to discuss how to get started working together. Through this channel on the U.S. Company One Discord server, Kalishnikov requested raw footage from Commentator 4 and later shared an edited version of Commentator 4's first video for U.S. Company One. Kalishnikov similarly participated in a Discord channel on U.S. Company One Discord server for another commentator listed on U.S. Company One's website, Commentator 5. Communications on that channel, including, among other things, Kalishnikov requesting raw footage from Commentator 5 and sharing an edited video. On or about November 9, 2023, Founder One messaged Producer 2 on Discord, in part that Edward hired Koisya's team. In other words, Edward Gregorian hired the Kalishnikov purported editing team. On or about August 17, 2023, Kalishnikov informed Founder One that Kalishnikov had added Helena Shudra, whom Kalishnikov described as a member of my team who will be coordinating the editing team, U.S. Company One Discord server. Digital forensic evidence confirms that Helena Shudra was in fact, Lena, an employee of RT. For example, the email account used to register Helena Shudra Discord account bears a Russian web domain and email handle, Lena1997, Afalena1997, which is composed of the first 3 letters of Lena's surname, Afa, a variant of her name, first Alina, then Lena, and her birth year. Moreover, between in or about February 2024 and or about March 2024, the Helena Shudra Discord account was accessed approximately 173 times from Moscow-based IP address that was also used to access Lena's personal Gmail address on approximately 12 occasions. On approximately 163 occasions, that same IP address was also used to access a Victoria Pesty Discord account, which, as set forth below, was another fake persona used by Lena at U.S. Company One. Lena, as Helena Shudra, initially adopted similar editorial role as Kalishnikov. For example, in communication to U.S. Company One Discord server, Helena Shudra solicited raw footage from and circulated edited videos for review by Commentator 4. After the public launch of U.S. Company One, however, Lena used the Helena Shudra persona and the Victoria Pesty persona to push RT messaging through U.S. Company One and expand its viewership as set forth below. On or about November 1st, 2023, one of the 6 commentators listed on the U.S. company's website, Commentator 6, posted a video. I wonder if they're just labeled literally by the way they are on the website. If that was true, then one would be... No, that can't be true, because one would be Lauren Southern. Okay, that's not right. In the video, Commentator 6 explained that U.S. Company One was a project, and Founder 1 and Founder 2 who were trying to build a new platform of independent media with an initial lineup of 6 content creators, namely Commentator 1 through Commentator 6. After the public launch of U.S. Company One, Lena, using her covert personas Helena Shudra and Victoria Pesty, aggressively advanced RT's investment in U.S. Company One in at least 2 ways. First, Lena demanded that Founder 1 press U.S. Company One's hired commentators to share U.S. Company One's content with the commentators' pre-existing audiences. Thus, so having Tim Pool take his new content and share it to his old content, the content he makes for the Russians, to share it to his regular content. Exactly. They weren't paying for his main channel, but they were getting it. For example, on or about February 16, 2024, Helena Shudra messaged Founder 1 on Discord. I do worry that neither Commentator 3 nor Commentator 1 share any raw videos posted on X. Commentator 2 shared only 1 video this week. Commentator 4 didn't share any raw videos. She only shared her mini doc and his promo. Commentator 5 is good at sharing our content so far. Lena then asked, do you think it would be possible if Producer 1 could start posting videos a bit earlier? Founder 1 responded that Founder 1 would talk to Producer 1 about posting earlier, and in fact did so. A few days later, Lena Shudra again messaged Founder 1, is Producer 1 going to post any things earlier today? I think we need to post things earlier and ask the commentators, media managers, to share raw videos with subtitles posted on U.S. Company One's X. At least 1 share per day, not 1 share per week. Founder 1 replied that Founder 1 asked Producer 1 to share at least once per day with the creators, but noted that the commentators were not contractually obligated to share U.S. Company One content. Helena Shudder responded, "I know this is not an obligation, but we are falling behind with numbers, and we need to make our best so the creators can share one raw video per day, at least for now." With Founder One's assistant, Lena, amplified her request that U.S. Company One's commentators promote U.S. Company One content by repeating that request to a second fake persona, Victoria Pesty. On or about February 21st, 2024, Helena Shudra messaged Founder One on Discord, "Please make invite for Victoria," referring to an invitation for the new Victoria Pesty account to join Discord Company One Discord server. After Founder One responded that Founder One had already sent the invitation yesterday, Helena Shudra replied, "Sorry, I thought you would send it to me here," thus implying that Lena was operating both Helena Shudra and Victoria Pesty accounts. Founder One then assured Lena that Founder One would intro Victoria to the chat and restate the importance of social sharing. The next day, as promised, Founder One posted a message U.S. Company One Discord server introducing Victoria Pesty from our investors team. As Victoria Pesty announced that from now on, our top priority should be establishing U.S. Company One's social media presence, and we do ask that you start sharing U.S. Company One's posts through your own accounts daily. Second, with Founder One and Founder Two backing, Lena directed U.S. Company One staff to publish specific content that Lena identified. On or about January 15, 2024, Founder One wrote in a channel on U.S. Company One Discord server, the producer Discord channel, comprised of Lena, Kalishnikov, Founder One, Founder Two, Producer One, Producer Two, and Producer Three. Helena is going to start creating customized videos for us to post on our socials for viral content that's floating around between in or about January 2024 and or about June 2024. Lena posted links to approximately 841 video clips, which were routinely posted by U.S. Company One staff to U.S. Company One's social media channels. On occasion, U.S. Company One staff privately contacted Founder One or Founder Two to push back on Lena's content and were rebuffed. For example, on or about February 15th, 2024, Helena Shudra shared with U.S. Company One a video of well-known U.S. political commentator visiting a grocery store. This was Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson visiting a grocery store in Russia. Lena posted a video in the producer Discord channel later that day. Producer One privately messaged Founder Two on Discord. "They want me to post this," referencing the video that Lena had posted, "but it just feels like overt shilling." Founder Two replied that Founder One thinks we should put it out there. Producer One acquiesced, responding, "All right, I'll put it out tomorrow." Another example, on or about March 22nd, 2024, Lena as Helena Shudra shared in the producer Discord channel a video of March 22nd, 2024 terrorist attack on a music venue in Moscow, which killed approximately 145 people and injured hundreds more. Producer One privately messaged Founder One writing, "I don't know if you saw it, but they want me to post some footage from an attack in Moscow today. There's a watermark in the middle of the page that's blurred. It looks bad. And it's also pretty graphic. You can see people getting shot, albeit from far away." Founder One did not push back on the content of the clip, but replied in producer Discord channel, "I'm not sure if it's a good idea to blur out someone's watermark." Helena Shudra then assured the group, "It's fine, no worries. It falls under fair use." Producer One and Producer Two found a video clip of the attack without the watermark and posted that clip to X, satisfying Lena's request. The next day, on or about March 23rd, 2024, Lena as Helena Shudra probably messaged Founder One on Discord asking that one of our creators record something about the Moscow terror attack. Despite public reporting that the foreign terrorist organization ISIS had claimed responsibility for the attack, Lena requested that U.S. Company One blame Ukraine and the United States, writing, "I think we can focus on the Ukraine-U.S. angle. The mainstream media spread fake news that ISIS claimed responsibility for the attack, yet ISIS itself never made such statements. All terrorists are now detained while they were heading to the border with Ukraine, which makes it even more suspicious why they would want to go to Ukraine to hide." Founder One responded that Founder Two would ask Commentator 3, and the next day confirmed that Commentator 3 said he's happy to cover it. I bet he is. By and by, on or about, this was on March 23rd, 2024. I wonder if we can find that. Where's their, let's go here. March 23rd, 2024. That would help us narrow down who Commentator 3 is. It's going to be a long way back. God, they post 800 some fucking videos a week. Jesus Christ. I hate the search function on Twitter. I just try to search for it, but it's so fucking bad. Oh my God, they post so fucking much. It won't let me directly search here. Well, hold on. On your phone, you can search just within Tenet Media. If I click here, it's going to search everything, isn't it? Yeah. Damn it. Okay, there's no way to do it. I guess I could hit media. That would reduce it some, right, if they put a video. Oh, that's still from August. That's way off. Unless they repost content. This might narrow it down some. Sharing a lot of Joe Rogan. I wonder who that was shilling for Joe Rogan. We'll scroll on this one for a while. That would help us narrow it down. March 23rd, 2024 of this year. That's DNC shit there, isn't it? Damn, they post too much. Politics doesn't even really matter. What do you think about Ghost Rider? It's a horrible movie. I don't know what else to say. So when were some of these posted?
By the way, if you call someone Hitler, we've been taught since childhood.
July. But that's it. That's as far as it goes back. So they deleted a bunch of shit, I guess. July. Everything goes back to July. All right. Back to it. By June 2024, Founder One authorized Lena and Klishnikov to post content directly on U.S. Company One's platform, bypassing U.S. Company One's employees altogether. Specifically on or about June 12th, 2024, in a Discord message, Founder One informed Producer One that going forward, Helena's team, which was Lena and Klishnikov, would be posting their own vids directly to U.S. Company One's social media accounts. That's so crazy. They just gave them the keys to the account. Founder One thus gave them unfettered access to serve RT messaging to U.S. Company One's audience. Founder One and Founder Two profited from their unregistered services to RT. Starting in approximately August 2023, Founder One and Founder Two typically submitted 2 invoices each month to Persona One on the Investor Discord channel. 1 invoice for U.S. Company One's expenses, such as his payments to his commentators, and other invoice for Founder One and Founder Two's own fees and commissions. Between in or about August 2023 and in or about June 2024, Founder One and Founder Two invoiced UK shell entity for more than $9.3 million for U.S. Company One's expenses, which they asked to be paid to U.S. Company One Bank. Founder One and Founder Two also invoiced UK shell company more than $760,000 for their own fees and commissions, some of which they asked for to be paid in Canadian Company One's bank account in Canada and and some of which they asked to be paid to U.S. Company One bank account in the United States. After Founder One and Founder Two transmitted their monthly invoices to Persona One on the Investor Discord channel, Persona One typically acknowledged receipt and confirmed payment. Between in or about October 2023 and August 2024, the U.S. Company One bank account received approximately 30 wire transfers from foreign entities totaling $9.7 million. U.S. Company One dispersed most of these funds to its contracted commentators, including approximately $8.7 million to the production companies of Commentator One, Commentator Two, and Commentator Three alone. So these are the top 3 paid ones, obviously. Consistent with Founder One's February 8, 2023 warning to Persona One that it would be very hard to recoup the cost for the likes of Commentator 1 and 2 based on ad revenue from web traffic and sponsors alone. U.S. Company One's foreign wire transfers exceeded its receipts of advertising revenue. Indeed, the approximately $9.7 million that U.S. Company One received from foreign wire transfers represented nearly 90% of all deposits made to U.S. Company One bank account from in or about October 2023 to August 2024. U.S. Company One received its 30 inbound wire transfers from 7 foreign entities, none of which were U.S. Company One's contract counterparty, UK Shell Entity 1. 3 of the remitting entities, Turkish Shell Entity 1 through Turkish Shell Entity 3, listed identical addresses at an office building in Istanbul, Turkey. 3 of the remitting entities, UAE Shell Company 1 to UAE Shell Company 2, UAE Shell Company 3, listed different addresses in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, and Ras, I don't know how to say that. And the last remitting company, Mauritius Shell entity, listed an address. I don't know this country. How do you say that? Mauritius? Mauritius? Am I just an idiot?
Mauritius.
Mauritius?
Mauritius.
I guess I am an idiot. I'm guessing that's an island somewhere. Mauritius Island, Mauritius, Indian Ocean Island. Okay. Mauritius, of the 7 entities, only the UAE Shell entity, UAE 1, UAE Shell entity 2, Mauritius Shell entities have websites. Like the website of the Czech Shell entity, the websites of UAE Shell entity 1, UAE Shell entity 2, and Mauritius Shell entity 1 reflect seemingly odd and inconsistent information. For example, Mauritius Shell entity 1 appears to maintain 2 websites using nearly identical domain names. One claims to supply agriculture products, and the other purports to be a digital marketing agency. As another example, the website UAE Shell entity 1 states in part, our company is always happy to create and implement new projects on the market. We are ready to provide a full range of services from creating project to bringing in the world's top ratings. And the website UAE Shell entity 2 claims to provide a random array of services ranging from construction projects to analysis of investment attractiveness and yacht consulting, as well as the sale of textile products, electronic goods, jewelry. The websites of UAE Shell entity 1, UAE Shell entity 2, Mauritius Shell entity 1 make no mention of Edward Gregorian. UK Shell entity 1, U.S. company's purported contract counterparty, Persona 1, Persona 2, Persona 3, Viewpoint Productions, Hungarian Shell entity 1, or Czech Shell entity 1. So it doesn't mention any of the other companies. Contrary to U.S. Company 1's invoices, which reflect fees for staff and commentators, as well as Founder 1 and Founder 2's commissions, the wire notes of many of the U.S. Company's 1 inbound wire transfers ascribe the payments to the purchase of electronics. For example, the wire note for Turkish Shell entity 1's $318,800 of wire payments to U.S. Company 1 on March 24, 2024 read, buying goods, invoice, .013 iPhone 15 Pro Max 512 gigabytes. Damn, this is bad, dude. Damn, this is bad. To deliver funds into the U.S. Company 1 bank account, each of U.S. Company 1's 30 inbound... I bet you the bank snitched on them. 30 inbound international wire transfers, which totaled nearly $10 million, as set forth above, utilized Correspondent Bank in Manhattan, New York. According to records of the FARA unit, neither U.S. Company 1 nor Founder 2 have ever registered as a foreign agent with the Attorney General. Count 1. From at least on or about December 2022 through at least this on September 2024 in the Southern District of New York, Russia, and elsewhere, Kalishnikov and Lena, the defendants, and others known and unknown, knowingly and intentionally, did combine, conspire, confederate, and agree together with each other to commit an offense against the United States, to wit, knowingly, willfully act and cause U.S. Company 1, and Founder 2 to act as agents of a foreign principal without registration with the Attorney General in violation of Title 22, United States Code, Sections 612 and 618. It was a part and an object of the conspiracy that Kalishnikov and Lena, the defendants, and other known and unknown, would and did knowingly and willfully act and cause U.S. Company 1, and Founder 2 to act as agents of foreign principals without registering with the Attorney General as required by law in violation of Title 22, United States Code, Section 612 and 618. In furtherance of the conspiracy and to effect the legal object thereof, Kalishnikov and Lena, the defendants, and others known and unknown, committed the following overt acts, among others, in Southern District of New York and elsewhere. In or about August 2023, Kalishnikov and Lena to the U.S. Company Discord server. Added Lena to the U.S. Discord server. In or about 2024, Lena circulated to U.S. Company 1 staff approximately 841 video clips, which were routinely posted on U.S. Company 1 social media channels. In or about June 24, 2024, Founder 1 authorized Lena and Kalishnikov to post content directly on U.S. Company 1's platform. Between in or about October 2023 and in or about August 2024, members of the conspiracy caused U.S. Company 1 to receive approximately 30 international wire transfers from foreign shell entities in furtherance of the conspiracy, each of which was processed by a correspondent bank in Southern District of New York. Count 2. The grand jury further charges the allegations contained in paragraphs 1 through 44 of this indictment are incorporated through and fully set herein from at least in or about December 2022 through at least in or about September 2024 in the Southern District of New York, Russia, and elsewhere. Kalashnikov and Lena, the defendants and others known and unknown, willfully and knowingly combined, conspired, confederated, and agreed together with each other to commit money laundering in violation of Title 18, United States Code, Section 1956, A2A. It was in part an object conspiracy, blah, blah, blah. They did commit it. Forfeiture allegations. As a result of committing the offense alleged in Count 1 indictment, Kalashnikov and Lena, the defendants shall forfeit to the United States pursuant to Title 18, United States Code, Section 981A1C, another hiccup, damn, and Title 28, United States Code, Section 2461C, any and all property, real and personal, that constitutes or is derived from proceeds traceable to the commission of said offense, including but not limited to a sum of money in United States currency representing the amount of proceeds traceable to the commission of said offense. I wonder if they can jerk fucking money out of Tim Pool's account. That's where it's going to hurt him the most. He's all about that fat fucking wallet. As a result, committing the offense, they did involve the said offense, any property, traceable property, whatever. Substitute asset provisions. If any in the above described forfeitable property as a result of any act or omission of the defendants cannot be located upon the exercise of due diligence, has been transferred, has been placed beyond the jurisdiction of the court, has been substantially diminished in value, has been commingled with other property which cannot be subdivided without difficulty. It is the intent of the United States, pursuant to Title 21 United States Code Section 853P and Title 28 United States Code Section 2461C, to seek forfeiture of any property of the defendants up to the value of the above forfeitable property. And there you go, folks. That's how Tim Pool became a Russian agent. Jesus Christ. The way you distance was smart. Do you feel about all of this angry, sad, relieved? Oh yeah, getting out of all the Q-tard Phil stuff. I'm glad we saved you. We used to have a bunch of people around that were like, I was a lot of people that are here believed in the Q conspiracy shit. And then I ran a lot of people off when I came out against Trump, but I can't fucking support him. Sorry. I'm not saying you can't, but I fucking can't. Not the way he talks about everybody. Anyways, that's how Tim Pool became a Russian agent. Thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight. I know it was kind of dry and boring reading a lot of that. Today and tomorrow are the 1 year anniversary of my dad passing away. So I've been trying to stay distracted. I wasn't even going to do a show, but I feel better when I do a show and get to talk. So thank you for being here and hanging out with me tonight. It's made a difference. I feel better already. So a little bit better. So that helps. At least get it off my mind. I've been trying to. I didn't forget it, but I was trying my best to not fixate on it, I guess. So thank you guys for joining us. Thanks for being here. Consider supporting the show while we're offline. You can do that at coldbeer.fund. Use any of the links to support the show. Keep it going. Tim Pool is either knowingly or unknowingly a paid Russian actor, which I've been accused of so many times of being a fucking shill. But it turns out it was Tim Pool, Dave Rubin. It was fucking Benny Johnson. It was all the people who claim everybody else is. So there you go. Communism for the win. Thank you guys for joining us. Thanks for being here. I'll holler at you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be a tough day too. I've been talking to my sisters all day, so we'll see. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll see everybody on the next one. Have a good night. See you. Bye.
But I can tell you this about if this douchebag happens.
Thank you for hanging out with me, guys.
You don't have the forking balls to call out the people.
I'm going to go try to get some sleep, maybe.
My name and tell them exactly who they are and tell them the rest of the world.
The actual day is September 5th, but it was because it was like we had to wait, call the family in, everybody traveled. It was like 3 or 4 in the morning when everything happened. So kind of both days.
You better buckle up, 'cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go. I think I started some shit.
I can't believe it's already been a year. That's just blows my mind. I went back and found that video where I called my dad after Tennessee beat Alabama for the first time in 15 years or whatever. I actually had Suko found it for me because I thought it was lost. Like the interview I did with him got lost, and I sent it to my sisters, so that was nice.
Worshipping drums, cocking, begging for a throat deposit, swinging fucking meat hammers like fool in a thong. He's strapped to the shaft, eating his chest like he's King Kong, starving for attention.
Atsuko used her Chinese hackers that she's got through the Yakuza or something, and she got them.
People, alien sex. What's next? Trump in a dress, fucking Flynn on his desk. A retard in a vest, climbing up 5G towers, cause you told him if he did, he'd get fucking superpowers. Here we go, I think I started some shit.
You've been a man of...
It's about to get lit, get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen nothing yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss him off, it's about to get lit, get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen nothing yet. I used to find clues too when I was high on shrooms. I found myself a tunnel that led to Jason's...
That's why I said it right at the end. I didn't want to get hung up on it, but I'll sneak it in there at the end. I miss him.
Put on a light coat of baby oil and saluted the troops. He tapped me on the shoulder and said, "This is gonna be it."
Have a good night, guys.
Wait. Stop. What? I'll get my files. Wait, what are you doing? Stop. Hold on. Fucking stop. Dude, come on. Seriously.